Jai Ma Kamakhya, Jai Ma Tara, Jai Bhairava. So today's video will be about the upcoming eclipse that is coming on the 7th in India time. I think the eclipse starts around 9:58 Indian Standard Time. The details of it will be mentioned in the description. So this eclipse is extremely powerful because it's visible in large parts of Asia and India. So therefore, it is going to have a much stronger impact on a large section of our population. In any case, whenever we deal with eclipses, as I have mentioned earlier as well, eclipses are very special times when the energy is extremely intense. And when the energy is this intense, it does not follow the normal boundaries of the set rules. And that is one of the reasons why temples prefer keeping themselves, the doors are closed in most temples, 99% of temples, primarily because to follow dharma means to follow certain rules. There is a distinction between right and wrong, good and bad, between the divine and the asuric. Whereas in the eclipses, because it clouds, because the effect of Rahu clouds the luminaries, the moon or the sun, in this case, the moon, because it's a lunar eclipse. So, therefore, it clouds the discrimination, it clouds the mind of the individual. Similarly, in a solar eclipse, it can cloud the ego of the individual. And when these two primary grahas of Jyotisha are eclipsed, by the nodes, by the Rahu, then it very often produces an intense amount of energy, but very volatile and chaotic energy, which without any understanding, without any grasp or depth of how one should function, uh, if one randomly tries to use it, it can cause a backfiring on the individual, either positive way or negative way. So therefore, the standard advice used to be that do not visit temples during eclipses. Temples are kept closed. Do not do any lot of random activities. You should maintain brahmacharya. Do not eat food. Do not drink water. So sutak is also applicable in this specific eclipse. And traditional sutak starts around 1 o'clock in the afternoon and goes up till next day. I think morning. We have to check the panchanga. But at least since the eclipse starts around 9:58, by 7 try and finish food and utilize this eclipse for your spiritual growth. So this specific eclipse is happening in the sign of Kumbha or Aquarius in the nakshatra of Shatabhisha. Shatabhisha, as we know, is a nakshatra governed by Rahu. It has a symbol of circle and also indicates healers, not just one, two, but 100 healers. So the indication of a circle means there is a specific kind of knowledge that is mysterious, that is a bit occult in nature, that is not easily available. Even the sign of Kumbha, where you see a man carrying a pitcher in his shoulders, that also indicates some kind of a rare or mysterious kind of knowledge. Additionally, Shatavisha is governed by Rahu, as I just mentioned, and the deity of this nakshatra is Varuna, the Vedic god of cosmic waters, which brings a lot of stillness and a very high order experience to individuals. So, given these factors, and since Moon will be very close to Rahu, so it can cause some kind of uh, uh, extreme emotional disbalance, sometimes fear, anxiety, paranoia, especially in those individuals who may have any grahas in that sensitive position, or the sign of Kumbha falls in any of the trines, or if there are grahas in trines to Kumbha, etc. So basically, these things can cause some sort of emotional and mental disturbance in such individuals. It is advised that on the day of the eclipse or during the eclipse, not to take any crucial decisions as far as possible. And during the time of the eclipse, from I think the peak eclipse will be for about a period of 3 hours. One can perform certain sadhanas which can help them in their spiritual and material life. Specifically, eclipses are extremely important in Tantra as considered to be very optimum periods of time for awakening Shakti, but following certain very crucial rules. So the first is to follow the rule of the Sutak, which means that consume food, including water, beforehand. During the time of the eclipse or few hours, at least 6 hours before and after the eclipse, one should avoid eating or drinking. Unless somebody has a medical reason, then you can go ahead. The reason for the why we say that we should avoid this is mainly because during the peak eclipse time, one avoids going to the loo, preferably. Why? Because every activity that you do which increases the apana vayu, when you go to the loo, your apana vayu gets activated. Same thing when you have a moment of physical intimacy, when there is lack of brahmacharya, the apana vayu gets activated. If the apana vayu gets activated, then it can bring about diseases and other things into the individual at a later date. Not immediately, but it opens up the possibility of such things. So that is why the general advice is to be that avoid any kind of food and drink at least 6 hours or more sometimes before an eclipse, especially if the eclipse is visible in that area. This is first thing. Second, now coming to the sadhanas, I will mention three different sadhanas. You may choose to do any of them, whichever you find suitable or whichever you like to do. The first is regarding Bhairava. If you have a Shiva linga that you worship regularly, or or specifically if you're Bhairava linga is not easy to find, but if not, a normal Shiva linga is also fine. Try to do Abhishekam on the Shiva linga with water mixed with fragrant attar or essential oils. Okay, a little bit of kapoor, little bit of long, so that the aroma of the water becomes very beautiful, and you pour it on the Shivalinga while chanting the Sahasranamam of Batuka Bhairava. You will find it easily on the internet, but a link will also be present in the description to the Sahasranama of Batuka Bhairava. As you keep chanting it, you also keep pouring the water on the Shivalinga. This itself is a very powerful sadhana if done at that period. So after you finish this, that tirtham you cannot consume because this is an eclipse period. So that tirtham you have to eventually dispose of into some plant or in the ground or somewhere else. Tirtham means the water that flows through the Shivalinga. Suppose if you don't have a Shivalinga, then just light a diya and chant the Batuka Bhairava Sahasranama at least once. If you can do it more than once, even better. Okay. And without any specific sankalpa or expectations, just for the priti of Batuka Bhairava, for obtaining the blessings of Bhairava in your life. That's all you have to do. Okay. Along with that, you may also give danam, annadanam, or provide to any place where annadanam is happening. Or if you cannot provide for annadanam, at least feed one individual if you can find somebody close by. Maybe do it in the next day morning, that is also fine. So this completes a sadhana of Bhairava, which will have a tremendous impact on any individual who does it in that period, because the reason also is because given that moon is in the nakshatra, Rahu is in the nakshatra of since the whole event is happening pegged on the nakshatra of Shatabhisha. So therefore, the uh, Rahu becomes an important graha, and Bhairava is one of the primary devatas who can control all kinds of maleficence that is associated with Rahu. So therefore, this is a very apt, useful, and powerful sadhana for anybody who wants to obtain the blessings of Lord Bhairava. The next two sadhanas are related to Devi. First is one may do the Durga 32 names of Ma Durga, which is again easily available, whether it's the Gita Press version or even online. Again, it will be mentioned in the description with specific with the link. Uh, One may take the 32 names and chant them 27 times during this period. Light a diya, sit down, chant them 27 times during this period, and after 27 times, do three malas, just three malas of a specific phrase from the Argala stotram, which I will mention again in the description, that asks Devi to provide Sobhagyam, Arogyam, and other blessings onto the Upasaka. So basically 27 times you do the 32 names of Ma Durga after you complete minimum 3 malas. If you want to extend beyond 3 malas, that is fine. But 3 malas is good enough. If you are tired after 3 malas, then you can stop. If somebody feels like doing more, you can do that more. There's a specific phrase from the Argala stotram, half a phrase actually, which is the mantra which has to be chanted for 3 malas. You may do it with a Rudraksh mala, you may do it with a Lal Hakik mala, or you may do it with a Sphatika mala. Or any mala that you use for your japa can be used for this. There's no problem in that. Okay. So this is sadhana number 2. And this sadhana, if you do, it will help bring about a certain degree of protection, prosperity, and removal of diseases and things like that from an individual. So again, the verse I will be, the sloka which has to be chanted, I will be mentioning it in the comment section or in the description so that you can follow it easily. The third sadhana that I have is related to Tara. Here too, it is almost similar to the previous one with some difference. You chant the Tara mantram that has been given in the 16th Thursday Tara Sadhana. That mantram, 9 malas of it. Okay, 9 malas of that mantra, and after one finishes the mantra, then one has to chant 9 malas of this same sloka that I mentioned from the Argala Stotram. Okay. I will be mentioning it down so that again there will not be a problem. You'll be able to read it. This is so Argala. In any case, in the Devi Mahatyam, Argala is considered like a bolt of intervention where the energy that is being directed is generated. Energy that is generated in sadhana is being directed toward this very specific dharmic activity or result, so that a specific outcome is achieved with the upasaka in his or her life or in somebody else's life. So Argala is primarily very often used, apart from being part of the Chandi part, it is used in Devi sadhanas, whether it's Kali, whether it's Tara, whether it's any Devi sadhana. The introduction of the Argala Sutra, or sometimes some Putikaran of the Argala Sutra is used as a means of directing the energy towards a specific goal. It's like a prayogam that is done, but in a more sattvic and more sort of acceptable manner instead of the Shudra prayogams that are possible also. So this specific verse comes as a clear guidance, and when done, chanted along with either the Tara mantram, which is to be done 9 malas, in which case this verse, this sloka, actually half a sloka, not full sloka, is also to be done 9 malas right after that. Or one may do the Durga 32 names of Ma Durga 27 times and 3 times this mantram, 3 malas. 3 malas is the minimum count. If one wants to do more, that is fine. The eclipse is for almost 3 hours. But the sadhanas I give are more or less aimed at those who can do the minimum count. If you are very good in upasana, if you have the capacity to sit longer and you can sustain the energies that are built and doesn't disorient you in any way, then you may do more of these. There's no problem. But I tell you the minimum amount that has to be done. So these are the 3 sadhanas that you may do. One is of Bhairava, one is of Ma Durga, one is of Ma Tara. All of them will bring you a lot of blessings of these deities, some protection of these deities in your lives. And given that this is an eclipse time, the impact of these sadhanas are going to be, at least for the next 4 to 5 months until there are certain other graha changes that happen. So eclipses, at the same time, try to follow the sutta if there are no medical reasons not to follow, which means if you have to take medicines and all that, you can definitely go ahead. But if you are otherwise fit and you don't need to take medicines, then try and eat food beforehand. Try to complete the sadhanas as far as possible. And the next day, if you can feed somebody, very good. If you cannot do Annadanam, then at least donate to some place where Annadanam is happening, so that it helps your relieving of some of the karmas that come along with eclipses. Okay. So with that, I'll end the video here. Jai Ma Kamakhya, Jai Ma Tara, Jai Bhairava.